everyone. It is April 2024. I'm Karen from Sew and Save here in my sewing studio at the Ponderosa because we are working on block number 4, Deb's Cats and Cradles Build a Quilt Workbook. And every month on the third Monday of the month, we all get together at our store in Racine, Wisconsin, and we show our blocks and look at new things that we have in the store. And this month, the girls are going to be working on block number 4. Block number 4 is page 10 of your workbook. And this month we will be using not only the kitty corner ruler, but also our ultimate flying geese ruler. I know, 2 rulers this time. Awesome. It's going to make the block go really fast, and it's going to make your block look perfect. So let's take a look at what you need this month to cut to start your block. The first thing you're going to do is cut your background pieces. You're going to cut 4 rectangles. Those rectangles are going to go right here in your block on the other side of your flying geese. So this is your background fabric, 4 rectangles. Then you're going to need the pink. The pink on mine is this beige, and this is going to go into your flying geese, and that's going to go around that center square in your block. Then the yellow, you're going to have 4 squares, and those squares are going to be used on the edges of your flying geese block. And then you're going to have 4 rectangles, and those will be used in your kitty corner blocks. I know, you're almost done cutting. Then you're going to need 2 teal squares. One is going to be large, and you're going to have 4 of those. Those 4 are going to be used in each of the corners of your kitty corner blocks. And 1 more block to go in the center of your block. This goes together fast and easy. By using our special rulers, we can get this done quick and beautifully, and you can move on to some other projects. So get your cutting done. Let's come back and I'll show you what you're going to start with, which is going to be your kitty corner blocks. Our first step this month, as in every other month, is to make our kitty corner blocks. So I've taken my 4 teal squares and I folded them in half diagonally and gave them a little press. We're going to start with step 1 on our kitty corner ruler, and we're going to place the fold line right on the fold line of our fabric. So this little dashed line is going to go right along the fold line of our fabric. This little point where it says step 1 is going to match up with our point on the edge of our fold, and then we're going to trim. We'll lift up our ruler, lay it back down right on the fold of the next one, matching up our points, and cut. 1 and 2 more times, and we will be done making our little kite pieces, which are unit A of our kitty corner block. Pretty simple. Are you getting this? You've done it a few times now. Hopefully some of it is you're starting to remember it from each month. I'm going to open these up onto my little design board. Kind of flatten them out here. And then we're going to cut and prepare unit B. So get these all lined up, because then I'm going to lay my next piece right on top of those, and I can take them over and sew them. All right, so we've got those all laid out and ready to go. Now I'm going to take my unit B rectangles. I have them all nicely pressed and lined up, and they're all facing up toward me. So all the right sides are facing toward me. I'm trying to get them lined up just a little bit nicer here. Here we go. There we go. Now we're going to cut them into another triangle. So we're going to go to step 2, where it says align left edge with edge of rectangle. You're going to line that up right there. Your straight line is going to line up right on the left side of your square. just like that. Make sure that you have that little dog ear lined up with the top here and the line going down the left side of your rectangle. You're going to trim that. Then you're going to pick these up, flip them over, and now you're going to use step 3 and dog ear that bottom corner. So I'm lining up a line there and right along the bottom and trimming those. Pick it up, lay it back down, line up your straight edge there and your straight edge right along the bottom, and dog ear that bottom corner. That's all you need to do. Now we are ready to take your pieces and lay them out onto your kite pieces. So we're going to line up the dog ear with the top of the kite and let the rest flow down to the point. I will go over and sew these at 1/4 inch, and then I will press them away from the kite piece or unit A. So it's going to go out towards your outside, what's called yellow in your book. So your yellow is my light blue. So I'm going to go stitch all of these at 1/4 inch and then press away from your center kite. I now have my first right hand side all stitched on and pressed away from my center unit A. Now I'm going to lay my second side down on the left side of my kite. Get those all lined up just so. Take it over with my little design board. I'm going to sew these at 1/4 inch. Remember, you want to get that dog ear just lined right up with the top of your kite. There we go. And one more. Here again, I'm going to press this at 1/4 inch and then press away from my center unit A. Now I have the other side of my little triangle sewed onto my kite piece, and they are pressed away from the center A unit. I'm going to use the trim side of the kitty corner ruler to trim this block down. So now I'm going to start with the point. That's why I have all of these laid out with the smallest point facing away from me. I'm making sure that I have the little V lined up with the V of my point, and I'm going to trim. Now you know that this is kind of an important spot because this determines how nice that little point is going to look when you sew all of your blocks together. So again, make the little V line up with the point of your kite, and then this diagonal line should come right straight through the other point of the kite and trim. It's a little harder going backwards and reaching out. I'm doing that so you can see it on the camera. Okay, lining up my little V to my little point, making sure the diagonal line goes through the large point of the kite, and trim. Look how beautiful those are. I hope you, oh, wait, I knew I had 4. Here we go. This one up here. This guy, let's get that going through there, and this going through there. So I have my little point lined up, and my diagonal line goes straight through the large point of the kite. And I didn't catch that right there, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I did. Good, good, good. Okay, get these little scraps out of the way. And now I'm going to turn all my blocks so that the widest point of the kite is facing away from me. At this point, I'm going to line up the 4 with the lines that I just cut, just like this. So my dotted line for the 4 lines up with the smaller point of the kite, which I just trimmed, and I'm going to trim off the larger point of the kite. I'm going to do this with all 4 of them. Here, line up the 4. Trim. Aren't these beautiful? I hope yours are turning out nice as well. I say this, I think every time we do this, that I love how the blocks start out bigger and we trim them down and make them perfect so that when we sew them into our quilt block, they look just perfect. Righty, one more here. And now we have our kitty corner blocks done for this month. Excuse me, I'm going to set this aside and we are going to go on to the next part. Look at how beautiful those are. Set those aside. After you've finished your kitty corner blocks, you're now going to start on your flying geese. We'll again be using our Ultimate Flying Geese ruler to make 4 flying geese all at once. So you're going to start out with your pink square, and then you will add 2 of your yellow squares. I take my little Quilter's Magic Wand, line it up from diagonal to diagonal, and with my Frixion pen, draw a line diagonally through those squares. Bailey's here and helping, so that's always good. Now I'm going to sew 1/4 inch from each, or on each side of the line that I drew. I'll trim it and then I'll press everything going toward my little blue squares here. I now have these stitched and pressed so that they press up toward the tips of my little blue squares. Now I'm going to add my other 2 squares into the opposite corner here and here. You're almost done with these. Isn't it amazing how fast this goes? All right, I'm going to draw a line diagonally through the bottom one here, and then another line diagonally through the top one. Okie dokie. Now I'm going to sew 1/4 inch from the line that I drew. When I get done with that, I'll trim on this line and press my seams away toward the blue corners and come back, and we'll be ready to trim these down to the perfect size for our block. I have all 4 flying geese all set and ready to go. Isn't that amazing how fast they go together? They're all pressed away from that center little teepee, all nice and flat, but yet they look kind of kitty-wampus, don't they? Well, not for long, because now we're going to square them up and they're going to be just beautiful. We're going to start with the trim 1 side of your Ultimate Flying Geese ruler, and we're going to look at the D line on that edge. The D is going to line up with the top of our little teepees, just like this. So we're going to line that up and trim. I get it all up a little bit right there. All right, pick it up, set it down, line up the top of the teepee with the D on trim 1, and cut. There we go. And 2 more times. We're going to go here, line it up nice. I'm going to click my, nope, I guess it's not. Need it to click. There we go. And 1 more here. All righty. Get my little scraps of fabric out of the way and flip my little teepees so that they look like little valleys, or the letter V in front of you. We've trimmed this edge and this, or we've trimmed this edge and this edge on each one. Now we're going to come along and trim the right side and the top. To do that, we're going to flip over to trim 2, and again, we're going to line this up with the D line on our ruler. So now the V is going to line up with the V of our block. I'm going to get a little straighter here. And then you can see that there's also a little line to go along the left and the bottom of your ruler, or your block, because we're going to cut this and make a 2 by 4 inch flying geese. That's finished size. That's what it's going to be, size it's going to be when it's sewn into your block. if you measured it right now, that would measure 2.5, oops, I kind of moved on that one, 2.5 by 4.5. Pick it up, set it down, line up the V with the V of your flying goose block, pick it up, set her down, and trim it. And you know what? Once you do that, you've got 4 perfectly perfect flying geese blocks. And you know what? You are now ready to put block 4 together. That is amazing, isn't it? We've got all the pieces that we need. The first thing we're going to do is start out with our center square, and that would be the teal colored. Then we're going to add the flying geese to all 4 sides of that. And I think when I sew this, the first thing that I'm going to sew is my background piece to my little flying geese block. And I'm going to press that toward my background when I do that. So I'm going to stitch those first, and then I'm going to come along and sew the 4 sides all together. Wow, this is a cool block. I love it. I like this one a lot. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to sew these together first. Then I'll sew across the row, and across the row. I will press toward the block here and away here. Alrighty, and then toward the center block when I'm all done. So let's go sew that together, and you can see the block all done. And here, ta-da, is our beautiful block number 4. Using our kitty corner tool and our ultimate flying geese tool, we made beautiful blocks, and they all fit together, and everybody lined up nice. I hope you can join us next month on the 3rd Monday of the month for our next block, block number 5. Have fun with this, and I can't wait to see what your blocks look like in class next month. See you soon. Bye.